It's the Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network. And man, this is kind of my ode to Signetti. It's kind of a Signetti look I've got going on. Signetti's better at shaving than I am, but Signetti would probably wear a coach's kind of a hoodie like this. This is for my local beloved high school where my daughter graduated from recently. Now she is a freshman at Texas A&M. And Kev, someday you got little ones. Someday you'll have to send them off to school, and it's so sad.
I sent my son back to his second year at UMHB.
Oh, I thought, okay, I heard like little voices recently.
Oh,
Okay, so you're saying
I have a 23-year-old and I have a 3-year-old, and I have 7 total. So you're lucky that they're not crawling all over me right now.
You have 7 children?
Yes, I do.
Oh my goodness. We need to get you some overtime. We're actually going to go to 6 today. Goodness gracious, buddy.
No. I can't go to 6 because I have to pick them up from school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have been prolific over the years. Good for you, buddy.
I got 4 adopted, so like.
Okay.
I have 7 different kids from 6 different mothers and 6 different fathers. It's like one of those old, like, hey, this person is friends with this person, but not with this person math problems, you know? Yeah, trying to figure out my family.
But we're not saying, this is not, so people don't get confused. This is not like
no.
Adrian Peterson or somebody who's kind of dabbled across the state lines and a lot of, we got lots of adoptions and.
Yes, this is not Tyreek Hill. My wife and I have only been with each other the entire time.
I didn't know we were going to start the show today with that.
I don't know.
I like that. I like that because in my mind, see Scotty, who was with me at the start of my program when we got the Mosley Show going on Rogue Media Network, has a toddler like 18 months old.
Yep.
And so when I heard a little one recently, I kind of put you in that range of having. So you've got a large range. Well, so you know what I'm talking about. The reason I brought that up is because yesterday we had to send her back to school, and it's easier when you send them back to. None of it's easy, but when you send them back, and boy, if UMHB, that's close, Kev. So you can't even get that sad about sending them that close to you down the road. But like, it is sad when you've raised them, they've been at the house, and then you go. But the coolest thing about it is like. You can tell them over the years what it's like to have like great college friends, and they see your friends and they kind of get the concept. But until they go off and make their own college friends and just see, again, high school friends are great. And I still have some. I still have some great ones. But the college, Kev's just now, I'm sure he has several buddies that, during those Indiana games or after them or whatever, that he's in touch with. All my Baylor friends. Baylor right now is going through it in men's basketball. And I heard from several of them the other night. And so that's one of the things so it's sad to send your kids back, especially after they've had a great Christmas break and they've been with you. But what kind of outweighs that is like your happiness and excitement that they get to experience these awesome things that we experienced 25 or 30 years ago. Like they have all these awesome new friends. Like during the Christmas break, she's a tridelt at A&M, and a bunch of her buddies from other sororities, the tridelts, they were constantly getting together, the Aggies that live in the Dallas area. So, it's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat deal to kind of see that all play out. As I mentioned, and I'll get into this with Grayson Grunhafer. The good news is Baylor's just like portal. It's happening. It's happening. Okay. Like 5 defensive linemen now. They're coming in from UTSA. They're coming in from some former JUCO greats. They're starting to bring them in. The Clandy man is delivering. The Clandy man can. The Kansas State defensive coordinator now, the Baylor defensive coordinator. He's got an edge rusher, a safety. I may have seen another Kansas State player, but they're starting to all roll in, and the Bears are putting a nice class together. In fact, last I saw, Grayson said Baylor had the 23rd best class in the country right now. Compared to where, and of course they've lost a ton along the way. They're putting out some good talent. In fact, one of the guys that never could get on the field this year, Carl Williams, just signed with Oregon. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. I mean, the kid was not without talent. Same with Caden Jenkins. It's not like these kids weren't talented, but we couldn't get them on the field. Carl Williams was either hurt or whatever was going on, and he couldn't play. He was never available. So, I mean, I'm sadder about players like Keaton Thomas and Colton Price and Bryson Washington, who are actually productive for the Bears. You're sad about the productive ones, those that are going to go somewhere and help out another team that weren't productive. More power to them. I mean, I'm happy for them. I hope they get their career going, but I'm not going to sit around and mope about Carl Williams leaving Baylor in the portal. All right. Now, latest, and we'll have some portal news coming up in Campus Confidential. Campus Confidential will be today at 1:30. All right. And that's when that Kevin will get to brag a little bit on his Hoosiers. They really struggled with Oregon the other night. Wasn't that a great rematch? Oh, my gosh. You can't beat a team twice in the same year. It's so tough to do. I mean, Kevin, I made the mistake of going to get food thinking, I'll run real quick. I'll pause the game.
Oh,
I couldn't help myself. I wanted to listen to the very first of the game on radio.
Okay.
And because I could have just left it on pause.
Right.
Then come back and started it the old-fashioned way. But then I got to the place, Hat Creek. You ever go to Hat Creek, Kev?
I've been there one time, yeah.
Kids love Hat Creek. And they got a great, by the way, if you're listening to us, and they don't even advertise with us, but I'll just tell you anyway, they got an app. And for some reason, there's certain apps where you get a lot of free stuff and you get a lot of free meals and all that. Theirs is very good. All right. So I'm always like, hey, you get a free whatever, Hat Creek burger or the Little Hat. I'm like, yes, I'll take it. I'll take my free burger. The other one, if you're in the Metroplex, Taco Joint has a great rewards program. It's great. There's a lot of taco joints in the Metroplex. In fact, I should take one to Waco. I should open one of those in Waco, all right, if I ever decide to get into that business. I don't think I will. Okay, but I mean, you can't even line up and throw a pass without Indiana scoring. And what's Pond's first name? Isaiah?
D'Angelo.
D'Angelo. Okay. I don't know where I got Isaiah. D'Angelo Pons runs the route. Oregon, Dante Moore, here they come. Let's see how Oregon does their first drive of the game. They throw a little out route, and D'Angelo sits on it. Is that Pons with that interception?
That is it.
I mean, just so bad.
And
such an awful way for Oregon and Dan Lanning to start.
First play, first pick, and a 6, and he right away he did the same celebration that Surratt did in the first one, but Surratt's was later in the game. He took the Oregon O, broke it right away. So, he knew that it was over right there.
Well, we all should have known. Final score, 56-22. I mean, it just, on a game, the night before, we'd had an incredible game. We get incredible wild card performances. I mean, Saturday and Sunday, we hope we get one tonight, other than one dud. We had a Sunday night dud. But the other games were awesome. 4 bangers. I mean, that's just incredible. You just don't see it on Wild Card Weekend just to get game after game. Like, wait a second, right? I was wanting to go play tennis yesterday. And I'm like, hey, maybe, hopefully, I was almost rooting for that Jacksonville game to not be as good as it was. I'm like, it won't be. I can get out maybe. It's like 62 degrees. It's gorgeous, sunny day. I want to go get some. I got new tennis court shoes that Mom gave me for Christmas and Dad. But, I mean, big time wanted to get out there, get those Asics gel 10s. I'll just say this, Kev. The black shoe, it's going to take some getting used to for me. because when Penn State and others wore it, I always thought the black shoe made them look a little slow. But in my mind, I worked it in my mind. I'm like, I think the black shoe has a bit of an intimidating look. I think the black shoe is going to get in my opponent's head a little bit.
Talk about the Fab Five.
I know. I felt slow. I felt slow in the black shoe yesterday. It was a black with on the Asics. You know the Asics. You know what those look like. It's got a black with a blue. It's a cool look. I think they're cool looking shoes, but they felt kind of clunky. It's my first time in them. I think they'll be fine, but I would say that I did find a way to win the set. We just played one set. I won 7-5.
Hey, Mosley.
But he was hitting some drop shots on me, and I was not getting there.
It's not the shoes that make the man; it's the man that makes the shoes, sir.
Yeah, but the shoes help in tennis, man. You need to be able to move around that court a little bit. Golly, Kev, now I realize why sometimes you look a little sleepy. I mean, seven kids. Goodness gracious. Yep. we have to make a sitcom over there. Golly, Kev.
We've had a few people interested in making a reality show. I'm like, nah, there's enough reality over here already.
Yeah. Kev, do you now is this your only gig, or do you have several? Well, a man with all those kids needs to have a lot going on in his life. You need to make a lot of money.
I told you we raise and train puppies too.
That's it. That's it. Okay. So and what breed is that? What breed is that?
We specialize in Yorkies, Yorkie poos, she poos.
Like, what's the most you've ever had at one time? Like, they're on campus, and I'm sure you do this in a very responsible way. Yeah, we don't need anybody out there accusing Kevin Hall of having a puppy mill. No. Kevin's doing some good work out there. The dogs are treated beautifully, I'm sure. Yes. But now, because the only thing that's bad for breeders to me is this. Now people get shamed. They shame you if you don't go get a rescue dog. You know, it's like, it's like, you know how that is, Kev. It can hurt the business because now everybody thinks you should have a rescue or you're not doing it right.
Right. You ready? Rescues are great. They're fabulous. But take it from an adoptive dad of 4. Sometimes you don't know what you're bringing in your house when you go get a rescue. And sometimes you prefer to have a good dog that was birthed at a house where it gets socialized and from scratch you get to make it and mold it to be your own. We've had a lot of.
Let's not make anybody mad though. You can have some good rescue dogs.
Absolutely.
Certainly, those are good pups.
I'm just general terms. And we've had a lot of our dogs go off and do service and therapy work and different things like that. So really cool.
Scout, the dachshund, the long-haired dachshund that lives in my home, very very fun dog. I'm not going to say if he's a rescue or not. I'll just leave that to it. But y'all do a great job. What's the most pups you've ever had on property at one time?
Oh, really? I remember our first litter. We had 2 litters at the same time. And this is back when we were doing big dogs. We're kind of phasing down to smaller dogs. Yeah. But we had 2 litters at one time, and that meant that we had 21 total puppies.
Whoa.
At the same time.
That's like a 101 Dalmatian type thing. It is the Mosley Show. It's our dog show. It's our annual. It's Yorkie Poos.
It's the best in show.
I've heard a couple of. Well, you've done a pretty good job on your barking. I've heard just a couple, but I have with that many on campus at times. You could see how that could get pretty interesting. So at one point, we won't do it today. I do want you to bring a Yorkie puppy in to the studio, and I want to get one of those on camera. Like to kind of get a look for that. That is Kevin Hall, Hoosier Hall, as we like to call him, as those Hoosiers. You thought it could have had just an unbelievable weekend, but they did not get the job done in basketball. They did get beaten. Although, I'll tell you what, Michigan got beat by Wisconsin, I think. With Michigan, the number 2 team in the country, got beat. Indiana had a home game. and they just didn't get the job done at home. It was I think a decent game, but they ran into Purdue, right?
They were up on Nebraska, 16 points.
That's it.
They were up 16 points with just, it was 4 minutes into the second half.
Yeah.
They were up 16 and let that all slip away, lost by 6.
Yeah. Well, what's happened is Nebraska is now a basketball school and Indiana is now a football school. And I'm not the first to make that point, but it is funny. It's very funny. All right, and put that picture back up you put up there. I like that. That is there's Coach Signetti, Fernando Mendoza. There's never been a better pairing. They just sort of deserve each other. Signetti has his own way of doing things, but the good thing is he is Saban-esque in some ways, and just kind of his demeanor and his presentation and some of what he delivers. But I kind of like that he lets his guys be however they are, whatever their personalities are like. Fernando's a little bit nerdy, maybe a lot nerdy. I love those pictures of his family. His dad celebrating, his mom, his brother's down the sideline. It's the backup at Indiana. It's just it's an incredible family story. And then Indiana just to crush Oregon in that game. And we've already brought some of it up the other day, like Surratt. I always like looking at the players who came with coach from James Madison. I think Surratt was one of them. And some of those guys just get better and better. And I did do a deep dive into kind of like what he looks for in players. And it's very, very interesting because he knows exactly what he's looking for. And he has help, but he's acting as the GM. It's not all these other schools, you got to have a GM. Oh, you got to have a James Blanchard like Texas Tech. You got to have a great GM. And I'm not saying that's not true. I think having great personnel people and all that is very interesting. But, he reminds me of Matt Rule in some ways because Rule had his finger on everything. Signetti has his finger on everything. And there's just certain things that he won't compromise on. Players with injury past, he moves on pretty quickly. And in other, that's not to say that some of those players can't become really good. But if you're missing a lot of games from injuries, there's interesting things that Signetti's looking at from like an ankle. Like he loves to look at their ankles, their hips, certain parts of their body, like how flexible all that is. And then again, there are parts of that he will not compromise on. He needs them to be extremely flexible in certain areas. So there's some coaches like Matt Rule and his O-line coach back in the day, the late great George DeLeon, they looked at vertical leaps for offensive linemen. And I would think, who cares how high one of these guys can jump? But, they were looking at it because they loved seeing the explosion. They thought that vertical leap for an O-lineman could show explosion. There's a lot of different things that Indiana's looking for. I hope, I know a lot of people are saying, well, they should be looking at Coach Signetti for one of these NFL coaching jobs. Certainly. I think that's true. Although, they're taking such good care of him. He's going to make another one of those things I love, even about that picture right there. This is a great time, by the way. Our timing was great to bring on Kevin Hall as our producer, a Indiana graduate and a huge fan of the Hoosiers. What a time to bring him on! And that's a look that Kurt has on his face. A lot of times, one of those shots that I saw from one of the recent games, it's almost hilarious. They'll get the camera on him during a game, and the other team will do something, and Kurt will look right in the camera. He'll find whoever, the ESPN cameras, and he'll give that look right into the camera. So that's one difference. That
there was the moment in the Rose Bowl where they did the punt thing, brought the punt team, and then the offense, and there was that whole like several different back and forth. This was his face the whole time. And right then, my wife, who is, a Hoosier as well, she went, oh, oh, they're toast. Alabama's toast. Yeah. They have no idea what they're up against.
He didn't you're right. What they did is they put their offense out there, I call it the old R.C. Slocum play, to try to get them to jump off sides, and then you run the punt team out there, or you end up calling a timeout, however you decide to do it. Other teams do it different ways, but that was that smirk, like, try whatever you want. We'll be here all day. We'll be all here all day, Bama. I do think it was, and he was nice to DeBoer and said every nice thing. It would have been more interesting if he was going up against Saban, because Saban was one of his mentors, obviously. I loved also a clip I saw recently, Kevin, of them talking about everybody giving their stories, Lanning, and everybody was playing in the Final Four. Cristobal, who had coached for Saban, about getting their rears chewed out by Saban. And they went from like coach to coach, and
yep.
And
I know where you're going.
And Signetti was at some point kind of said, nah, he never chewed my rear out. Nope. Kind of like he did not do that to me. This is going to be fun. And now we do have a national championship game for two very interesting personalities. We got two great defenses. We got an offense in Miami that when they have to, they can score. They didn't have to against A&M. They had to against Georgia, and they found a way to get it done. They didn't really have to against Ohio State. They just kind of kept the score down in that game. They played great defense, and now they go up against Indiana. And what's very weird, as we sit here today, I couldn't even tell you what today is. Is today the 12th, maybe, Kev? Have we confirmed that yet?
That is correct.
Are we a week away from – isn't that strange that we'll have the divisional NFL games before we will have the college football championship game? We'll have the divisional games, and then we'll know who the conference title games are in the NFL, and then we'll have the college football playoff national championship game next Monday.
That's correct.
All right, we're sitting here today on Monday. Kev, what's the line? Have you looked at the spread on this game yet?
I have not.
All right, let's take a peek. And by the way, when I get Kendall Couts coming on with me tomorrow, Kendall's he's a great basketball guy. He knows all the analytics. He's written a book on Baylor basketball. We're going to work through it. I mean, I'm not going to be like Scott Drew's a friend of mine and will continue to be so. I'll continue to have him on. This looks really bad right now. Baylor is staring. They're staring an 0-6 start in the face. Tomorrow night, they'll have to go to Stillwater. Oklahoma State's not great. They're not bad. I was watching them at Iowa State in that game Saturday. They look pretty good to me. They look pretty dang good to me. All right. Indiana is favored by 7.5. So where I was getting, by the way, right there, Grayson Grunhafer will have the latest on Baylor, on all their signees, their commitments. They're putting a pretty nice portal class together. All right. I know not everybody's out there like dying to have, Dave Aranda back. I get all that. But, what the heck? If he's going to be back no matter what, let's throw some haymakers. What do you want to do? They can't hold that money back for next year. Oh, let's not spend our portal. Let's just tank this year. What does tanking get you? Well, it gets your coach fired. I know a lot of you want that, but that's about it. That's about it. If you tank, you don't get a better draft pick. You don't get better portal class the next year. You don't get better recruits. Tanking tanking really doesn't do that much for you in college football. You can get a coach fired, but you've already basically had that. And he didn't get fired because of a scandal. All right. So I think you need to root for them to have, a great season next year, a fun season at least. And there has been a report today, Matt Zenitz, who is going to come on with us soon, who has a lot of reports for On3 and CBS. Matt had the report that it's looking more and more like DJ Lagway will actually sign with Baylor. Part of that is, Ole Miss is going whole hog on a huge lawsuit to try to get Trinidad Chambliss back. Raiola has committed to Oregon. I didn't want to say that. Dylan Raiola, the Nebraska quarterback, has gone to Oregon. It's good. I like it, Kevin. I love it. I love it, man. You were on it. It's beautiful. So the Nebraska quarterback who has committed and decommitted and committed and decommitted over the years and been at different high schools and tried to emulate and wants to sound like and look like and wear the number of Patrick Mahomes. He is headed to the Oregon Ducks. All right. And then we do have other breaking news today. Sam Leavitt is headed to LSU. All right. The Arizona State quarterback from the Big 12 is headed to LSU. We don't have the numbers on that, I don't believe, Kev, but I would say Sam Leavitt is and by the way, remind me, Kev, I would bet it's in that $6 to $7 million range. Sorsby got $5 million at Tech. Sam Leavitt should at least get $5 or $6 million at LSU. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Raiola at Oregon, probably $4 to $5 million. Like, Kevin, you're gonna set the bar too high. Like every name I mention, I'm gonna expect a graphic for. Kurt Signetti. Come on, Kevin. You can. There he is. Fernando Mendoza. Kevin is quick. He's quick. There he is, to the left of the great Signetti. I mean, Kev, remind me, what has Indiana? I've been following. They've been very, very active, obviously, in the portal. What did they remind me? What they did at quarterback?
Hoover.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Hoover from TCU.
Hoover
yeah,
is going to be a Hoosier, which he originally committed to when he came out of high school. So it's fitting.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. Josh Hoover.
Yep.
And he's a Hoosier.
But he's a Texas kid originally.
Yeah. From like the Rockwall area, maybe. Yep. Okay,
that's correct. Yep.
And of course he'll go there, and the Heisman odds going into next season, they'll be doing them, believe it or not. After the national title game, they'll go ahead and get those up. I would think Hoover, Leavitt. Don't think that Raiola won't be up there with Oregon. He will. And if Dante Moore comes back, he'll be even higher. I mean, he did not look good against Indiana. Those Hoosiers put it all over him the other night. Who was the best defensive player of the game for the Hoosiers the other night?
I think his name is Ndakwe. And this is how it worked. Like the best defensive player in the Rose Bowl, even as a fan and somebody who covers the team, I'm like, wait, who? And the same thing with Ndakwe. He had a huge sack. He had the blocked punt. So,
Do you remember where he came from? Do you remember where he came from?
No, I don't. I'll look it up though.
All right. I expect you to know every detail. There's no detail too small to know about the Indiana Hoosiers, especially when it comes to Hoosier Hall. Our man, Kevin Hall, who graduated from IU, and man, it's just interesting. The Signetti story fascinates me. In fact, I would read a book on the Signetti family, because Frank Signetti, and somebody I'm sure will write one soon, but the dad was at University of University, the one that was in Pennsylvania. The dad, Frank Siegmund, was at the school in Pennsylvania, and then Kurt took over that school. And then Kurt started working his way up, and he ends up at, eventually at James Madison. But it's fascinating to me when someone is willing to leave at age whatever he was. I mean, he didn't become a head coach, I think, till he was like 50. But when somebody's had a fine career, and they're a wide receivers coach for Saban, and Saban had spent time, as Kevin talked to us about recently, as Frank Siegmund was a mentor of his, but that Siegmund would leave Alabama, huge job, to go be a head coach, knowing as he went from those stops that there was a good chance he was never going to make it back to the big time. And some would argue that Indiana was not even making it back to the big time, but it was a Power 4 job. It was a job in the Big Ten. And I would say what Indiana did with its hire of Curt Siegmund has changed hiring forever. Like we're going to have Kevin, and I hope I told you this over the weekend. I'm sorry. There's just so much that has happened. Doug McNamee, the new Baylor athletic director, is going to join us for Friday's show. So we'll have him Friday, and that's going to be great. We'll enjoy that. But I'm going to ask him about that. Like, how much does he think that Signetti's hiring and his success, has it changed the way the old search comes? Because it used to be, well, let's look at these guys, and let's look at Group of Five, and let's look at the American Athletic Conference, and that still happens. A ton of those dudes got hired from the American Athletic Conference. I think 4 guys got P4 jobs from the American Athletic Conference. But now you do have to take a peek and go, hey, what's going on over at James Madison? The new UCLA coach got hired from James Madison. Why do you think that is? Because he was so great? No, because of what Siegmund did.
I love that every program that Siegmund has been the head of, he leaves on good terms, and he leaves it better than he found it. Right? Before Siegmund was there, you would be like, GM who? But now they have continued success even after he's gone because of the groundwork that he has done. Daniel Ndukwe, there we go. He's a sophomore, and his last place that he played was high school. So he was recruited by Siegmund last year from high school. So it's not that Siegmund just does the portal stuff, as is believed.
I bet he was like a 3-star. Yeah,
probably.
There's no way.
He's out of Georgia.
Ooh, yeah. Indiana dipping down there in Georgia. It's a great thing he does, and it's something we should all study and find out about. Not everybody's going to be able to pull off. Who knows? The next Siegmund may not be the next Siegmund. The next person you think is Siegmund, it might not. But I totally get it, why these ADs would be trying to identify and find the next one. Because if you can function in this crazy portal world, and while, you go, well, he's got Cuban's money. I get it. The huge Cuban money did not come in until this portal class. Cuban gave money last year. He did. But the huge Cuban money just came in. So I still think the way he does it, it's not like just a apples and apples to like Cody Campbell in Texas Tech, billionaire to billionaire. It does help to have Mark Cuban, but Cuban, he's a longtime Indiana fan, but he didn't jump on the bandwagon and start getting up the huge money until he had proof of concept, until he knew he loved this new head coach and the way the program was giving. He was probably given all those years, not a ton, but was probably giving plenty over the years, but that didn't lead to them winning. And then suddenly he saw it. He saw it take off. Okay, 2:00, we'll have Grayson Grundhafer joining us. Next, we'll do some Campus Confidential.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. If you receive a call from someone claiming to be from a company, don't give them your personal information, ever. Unless you know them personally, hang up and call the company back on a verified number.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Everybody at EcoLife really has a passion and a real interest in helping people feel well. How much further can we go to get you feeling even better? It is a complete partnership between the two of us.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
I am obsessed with helping business owners increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. It's this amazing platform where people are looking for ideas, inspiration. They have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution.
It's hard to find supplements that work. No, thank you. Plant-based supplements made from the Earth's most powerful plants for your immune health, gut health, workouts, and more. Find out more at auraorganic.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
It is Mosley, and right here with Kevin. It looks like somebody else is lurking as well, Kevin. I mean, my gosh. Joining us. I
think somebody was in the background working on some stuff and they just
good.
left it up.
Good. Oh, okay. I don't know. Oh, nice. Okay. Anybody who wants to work on the show, just bring them right in. But I just noticed somebody. I was like, wait, is Grayson already here? But no, that's an old pal of ours that's in here from the office. Okay, Kev, it's the Mosley Show, and man, I do want to, before we're about to get to Campus Confidential, I want to talk about Alan Samuels, and my goodness, it is, some of those end-of-year deals, I was so impressed with what they were doing, and Ted Teague and his whole staff out there, it was remarkable, and some of those are still the brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Sahara, a massive amount, almost $10,000 off. And then a battle ready 2025 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. I just can't even believe like how much you can save on these things. The 2025 Ram 3/4 ton limited. They're slashing that deal incredibly. Get to Alan Samuels Dodge today. Don't wait. Don't miss out. And that'll be good. Also, that 2026 1500 Laramie Crew Cab. It just, over 10K off right now. It's just remarkable to see these deals. So get out to Alan Samuels, and we appreciate Ted Teague and his staff and everything that Alan Samuels does with us. Okay, Kev, without further ado, because we got Grayson coming up here before too long, but would you, sir, begin something we call Campus Confidential?
Absolutely. Okay. So did you said you paused the game. Did you go back and watch the game? Did you see the crowd at the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember a college football playoff or national championship crowd that was as lopsided as it was there at the Peach Bowl?
I'm trying to think of all these bowl games I've been to over the years, and I remember just being bowled over, no pun intended, by the Baylor Duke game in the Elite Eight in Houston. I thought I thought Baylor showed up like it's never showed up before. I thought they took over the whatever it was called then, the Houston football stadium, XRG, whatever it was. Minute Maid used to be it was unreal back in the day. But so Baylor did have a lot more than Duke, as I recall. But yeah, for a national huge game like that, that was pretty remarkable. And I think that was a testament to the way that how excited they are, the way they traveled. For a neutral site type game, I've just never seen anything quite like it.
Yeah. They were saying, they said 90-10, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I think it was much more than that.
I mean, that's 90-10 still incredible.
Yeah.
80-20 would be unreal. It was hard. It was kind of, and it set a weird tone for Oregon. It sets a weird tone when you're a nationally famous, great program, and you got Phil Knight backing you, and you kind of show up without your people. It's an odd thing, and then it just turned into a game-long celebration. It'd been one thing if they could have kept that crowd quiet, and they couldn't do it. The only reason they kept it quiet is because they got so lopsided that I'm sure a lot of those fans were just kind of, they weren't quite as into it as they could have been.
Yep.
But that was a massive audience there for Indiana. And what's happened is all those basketball fans who grew up and worship everything about basketball and IU basketball, it's just like all those years of pent-up frustration, like Kevin and many others, it's all coming out. It's all coming out, and I'm sure there's part of them like when does the other shoe drop? When does something do we deserve this? Is something bad going to happen? A lot of these fan bases have this case of sort of impending doom to happen. And I think Signetti, the trust level is such that even if they somehow lose to Miami, it will be, I think, in a great hard-fought game. Again, I don't expect them to lose. And as I've told you, that line's at 7.5. I mean, it is insanity.
Not to mention, it's in Miami. So it's essentially it should be a home game for Miami, although I wouldn't count on it. Miami fans, they get too distracted by all the different things there are to do in South Florida. But it's also, Mendoza grew up in Miami too. So
it's an interesting thing you bring up, and I'll just remind people, because people forget this. While they do have a great fan base, I'm talking about the U, and they bring in some fans that didn't go to the U. It's a private school, and it is a relatively small campus.
Yep.
And so the massive state school that Indiana is, they'll be able to flex their muscle. Now, this will not be 90-10. This will likely be something like 60-40 Indiana. Okay, at what's this place called?
It's the Hard Rock It's where the
Hard Rock.
Dolphins play, and it's the same stadium.
It's a cool
that Miami
looking place. It's a cool looking place. I like the old Orange Bowl. And I just like I like the history, and I like being in there. Did you see the Dolphins were thinking about interviewing Shula's grandson? Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be fun.
A Shula back to Miami. I mean, it sounds like something they would do. Just like, oh, this would be fun. Let's bring a Shula back.
And when we lived in South Florida, we know the distractions, but we actually got the opportunity to be one of the flag holders at a Dolphins game one time in that stadium. So I've been on that.
Who did?
I did. My family and I.
Y'all were chosen to be the flag holders?
You know the giant flag they put on the field?
Yeah.
Me and the church and the school I was part of got to go do that. So it was fun.
Kevin, I mean, today you've revealed, we're finding out, who is Kevin Hall? Who is this man of mystery? And okay, Kev,
right.
What else do you have, sir?
One more about Indiana, and this doesn't come from me. I heard it.
Shocking.
I heard this asked. Is this Indiana team the greatest college football team of all time? You can see here. Teams to score 55 or more and win by 30 or more. There have been 3 in the history of football. And
I can't see that. Who are those others?
The 2 others were 1885 with Princeton and 1886 with Yale. Like the first 2 years of football in general.
Okay. Yeah,
and
I mean,
Indiana
those are
is the only other team.
Great. Those are great teams, those Ivy League teams. I would say the only one, right? I mean, they're up there. I don't want to get caught in this recency bias.
Yeah.
And so I do think that 2019 Orgeron team at LSU, I just thought they were just monsters. And then at least one of those Alabama teams. The thing is, there were so many of them. And they had so many great receivers over the years. It's hard for me to pin down exactly which one I'm thinking about. But I would put one of Saban's Bama teams.
What about Tebow's Florida? That's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah.
Because they were dominant for like 3 straight years.
Yeah, although I think Tebow, they just won 1 national title with Tebow. How many did Urban win there? Did he get one with like Chris Leak or somebody?
I think so.
Anyway, that was a dang good Ohio State team in 2004. Well, but I hated that team because they passed up Baylor and TCU. See, the hard ones to do, it's hard to, Kevin, tell me, by the way, do we need to break at 55 to get ready for Grayson, or do we want to go straight into Grayson?
Yeah, let's take a little short break there. Yep.
Okay. I don't know. The best teams ever, those arguments, because I think Bud Wilkinson and Switzer and even a couple of those old Darrell Royal teams, I just think it's impossible those are such different eras and different things. It's almost impossible to put those up against. So I do want to recognize some of those those great teams, even the old Bear Bryant teams from when I was a kid. I saw one of Bear Bryant's final teams, and EJ Jr. and I saw Baylor, and it was the 1980 football season, and I was 7 years old, and that was scary. Like, Alabama was so good that it was scary. Baylor had one of the greatest teams Baylor ever had, and they got beat 30-2 in that Cotton Bowl. It was rough. All right, Kev, what else do you have? And always, by the way, if you ever have like a ton, we can always hold it over for later in the 2 o'clock hour. So I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, we didn't get to what I wanted to get to. What else do we have in Campus Confidential?
Well, you mentioned it. Wisconsin upset Michigan on the road in Ann Arbor. So do you think that this is a crack in the armor of Michigan, or was this just a fluke? What do you think?
Well, I think these things can sometimes reset things, and so while it's very interesting, and I think it's a reminder that Coach Gard or whoever they have there, is that Greg Gard at Wisconsin, that, they pay their players too, and they pay their coach a ton of money. And you're going to have tough road games, home games. I still think they're incredible. I think what it does is too many people have sort of handed this thing to Michigan, and it's a reminder Arizona is unbelievable. All right. So there's a reason they're up there at number one. Now, I haven't seen today, Kev, you probably have it in front of you to see how far they moved Michigan down. I wouldn't move them down much. I'd move them down if to like 4 or 5. Now, that team Baylor played the other day at Houston, I'll have this conversation with Grayson. That's about the most. Houston's had some great teams, and they've been in the Final Four, and they played for the national championship last year. And they had great guards, and they had great big men. And I've loved a lot of these players from Houston. But with Sinak and Flemings and then Ulis and now Jesse Tugler, come on now. Come on. This Houston team is scary. And I got them right up there with Arizona. I mean, Baylor couldn't even be on the same court with them the other day. So anyway, lots of interesting things going on in college basketball.
Speaking of that, how concerned are you with Baylor losing to both number 3 Iowa State and number 7 Houston, both highly ranked teams, before they now have to play Oklahoma State and Kansas this week, both on the road?
It's not so much that like them losing to them, it's like how it happened. They in all 3 games, Baylor has shot the ball extremely poorly. They got off to a good start against Houston and had a nice little lead. Same thing against Iowa State, and they just couldn't do anything. Iowa State, they were only down 25-24 at the half. By the time halftime arrived against U of H, it was a miracle that they were within 7. It really was. Houston outworked them, outmuscled them, out-big-boyed them, killed them on the boards. This is a rough start. I mean, Scott is going to have to do like the best coaching job of his career, like national championship caliber, because that team was incredible and incredibly talented and deep and played defense and had everything. Scott's going to have to do the job of his life. Like if this Baylor team finishes 500, he will have had the best coaching job of his career. All right, this is a tough spot. It's tough because the team they've put together, they don't have enough. It looks like they've missed on a couple of things. They don't really have a true great point guard. They don't have great shooting. They've got 2 extremely athletic players, but they don't know totally how to feature them right now. It is a mess. And I mean, it would be huge if they could go to Oklahoma State and get a win tomorrow night. All right. I don't love their chances. I bet Oklahoma State's going to be favored by at least, 4 or 5 in this game. But that's one of the things we'll talk to Doug McNamee, getting more money pumped into this program, because you can have one down season. It even happens at UNC. It actually has happened to Duke. All right. But you just can't have 2. You can't have back-to-back, because then you look up, Kevin, and you're out in the wilderness. You have what happened to Indiana. They ended up in the wilderness of college basketball for about 15 years, right? And then you cannot let that happen. And Baylor is in a bad way right now. All right, Kev, we got Grayson Grunhafer with the latest huge portal news for Baylor. And then we'll talk some Baylor basketball with them as well. We'll do that next.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com. It's time to start something new at Allen Samuels. Drive in with huge savings on all of our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. From a trail-conquering Jeep Grand Cherokee, towing in style with a Ram Heavy Duty, or cruising the city in a sporty and luxurious Ram 1500, we've got the perfect ride for you. Stop by Allen Samuels in Waco, where we make car buying easy.
Come by. Let's be friends.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner, overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
It is Matt Mosley, the Matt Mosley Show, and Grayson Grunhafer joining us now. And Grayson, welcome back to the show. We'll be trying to be quick with you because it's been a fast and furious. I mean, there's never any time off in the portal. When does this thing end? Finally, Friday, the portal.
Yeah, it ends on the 16th, but that's not the end of this thing. I mean, that's just the last date where guys can enter the portal. Baylor can take guys for, I mean, they got, up until really, I'd say sometime in the summer for fall camp, obviously, but the majority of Baylor's class should be solidified by the 26th because that's the last day that you'd be able to take a prospect, and then they can enroll for the spring semester and be there for spring football.
Well, you're doing a great job for Sikkim 365, and the people who subscribe over there are definitely getting their money's worth. And y'all have had hundreds of thousands of views, I know. And so all your notes and everybody, and then also got to keep up Grayson with the former Baylor players that end up at other places. And, and we'll talk about Carl Williams a little bit, but let's keep our focus on the players that are headed toward Baylor. I saw one report out there, Grayson, and I want to get your take on this, that DJ Lagway, all signs were still pointing toward him signing with Baylor. I think Baylor fans right now have this sort of impending dread because of what happened last football season and because some of the things that Baylor fans have been through. And when that report came out about Lagway, I think you and Pete Thamel had that of him visiting Ole Miss. It's, it really was upsetting to a lot of Baylor fans. After now that he has taken that visit, what are you hearing on DJ Lagway? And I mean, I guess the priority has to be, let's go ahead and get him signed, because the more you wait, the more it allows other weird things to happen out there in college football.
So it's definitely a wild story for sure. I think the big thing that, myself and Colt Barber were posting on Sikkim 365, and the biggest part of this, I think, story is that he did commit when he was on his trip to Baylor. He did. He committed. It's a verbal commitment. I understand that when you hear reports he's going to Ole Miss for a visit, that makes you say, well, then he's not committed. But that happens all the time. I mean, you look at high school guys, you look at even transfer portal guys, they commit and then they still take visits elsewhere. It doesn't necessarily mean the end of the world. He had already committed to taking that Ole Miss visit. And so he went ahead and honored that he was going to take that trip. And in fairness, Ole Miss hadn't figured out their quarterback situation quite yet. I mean, they're trying to get their ideal situation is that they get Trinidad Chambliss eligible and that he's their starting quarterback next year. That's Ole Miss's ideal situation. They got the Auburn transfer quarterback to commit as well. He was on the visit over the past couple of days with DJ as well. So they're set at quarterback now. And honestly, I think DJ just honored that he was going to go take that visit. And that was pretty much that, because Ole Miss had their strategy at the quarterback position pretty much figured out. They were just bringing him in on another visit just to kind of make sure that they were solidifying that spot. Now on the Baylor side of things, I mean, he committed, so you're kind of just operating like he's committed. Now you're just waiting on him to sign. And that's been the thing that I know Baylor fans have been waiting on. We've been waiting on just for those documents to actually come in for him to sign. But I fully expect that he will. I mean, I didn't really see a huge issue with him taking this trip to Ole Miss. I know it comes as a surprise and it is a story. It definitely is a storyline, but I remain pretty adamant, and everyone that I talked to, sources-wise, seemed pretty confident that he was going to end up being a Bear. And I posted that as many times as I could on Sikkim 365. But, of course, when RG3 posted last night, I think people really became a little bit more excited about it, or felt like it was even more solidified there. So just waiting on the paperwork to come through, I think, at this point. I fully expect him to be a Bear, though.
All right. In my book, I don't have to have RG3 put his stamp of approval on your reports, okay? But I just think Baylor's had so much bad news that that's what happens. It's not so much about, these things happen or portal or whatever. It was on the heels of such exciting news. He's going to have this visit. And as you would attest, a portal visit does feel different than these high school visits where they still go on. And sadly, as Baylor found out, even in the high school, they lost some of those players that went ahead and took visits. And so I just think that is what all those people that you're seeing when you're in those chat rooms and everything, that's what they're feeling, is like, this is going to go wrong. So I think everybody would love to see the actual, like you say, the paperwork come in, including those Baylor coaches. Now, today, even you had Draylon Miller from Colorado. You've been talking about him for a couple of weeks now. And then the Georgia State linebacker, Kendrick Walker. Again, these are the players that come in that you just never know for sure. But you like to get from these lower level conferences extremely. You want people that are have been very, very productive. What about Draylon to start with? Why do you think this was a big get? Because I sense from reading between the lines and hearing what you've told us that this is a pretty big get for the Bears, and this was a priority right away for them.
Right. So they added 2 receivers today because obviously Kentucky transfer Hardly Gilmore as well as the other one that they got on board. But man, Draylon, this is one where I had the fortune of just kind of being able to talk to sources really early on in the portal process about him. And Baylor was literally the name that I heard immediately when he entered the portal. I mean, just like they prioritized him to that level. They had one of the better offers for him initially and just kept putting the pressure on, honestly. It took him a little while to take his visits, which is why I think it didn't really string out his recruitment, but maybe it took a little longer. He got sick early last week, and so it took him time before he was able to take all his trips. He went to Louisville, Kentucky, Texas A&M, and then, of course, Baylor yesterday, and that was his visit cycle. So some pretty good teams kind of in the mix there. But in general, again, I think Baylor was the favorite from day one. That had been all over Sick'em 365. That had been one where it just felt like that was what it was coming to. And he's the guy that Baylor really wanted. And if you look at his fit in Baylor's offense, I think he's going to be phenomenal. I mean, you look at what Cole Wilson, Kobe Prentice, Monterey Baldwin all did in this offense. I think he's got a lot of kind of each of those guys. Plus, he is just a difference maker with the football in his hands. I mean, his yards after catch are phenomenal. His ability as a running back as well, in which you could be in 5 wide receiver sets and then flex him into the backfield and feel like you're getting a really good option running the football as well, is very intriguing. I also think there's just upside here. I mean, this guy was a top 100 prospect. I mean, there's a chance that he just starts dominating. I mean, I can really see that. He wins a lot of one-on-one routes, and you see that in Spavital's offense a lot with those slot guys. They give them one-on-one opportunities, and that's where he's really going to thrive. So I'm extremely excited. He's a guy you just get the ball in his hands and allow him to go to work, but I think there's upside with him down the field and in one-on-one situations. Huge get for the Bears, definitely.
All right, the Grayson Worry-O-meter was kind of high at defensive line. They started addressing that, and I believe they have, 5 defensive linemen committed now?
Yeah, getting up there. I mean, depending on what you classify as the edge position. But yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so 2 edges. I mean, Garrick Ponder is kind of in between there, the Southern Miss guy. But yeah, 5 of them right now. There's still work to do, is what I would say on that position. I think they still need to add some pieces. I really like Ryan Davis and Garrick Ponder, who are the edge types. I think they could add another edge. We talked about this one last week, Matt, but Coastal Carolina edge Zeke Campbell is one I'm definitely keeping an eye on there. He makes too much sense for them, especially with his connection with Ja'Cory Greer, but he has blown up on the recruiting trail, has a good offer list. And then I think they're going to address the interior of that defensive line a little more as well. I think they need to just find some guys. And we saw some Oregon dudes enter the transfer portal. We're going to see some more college football playoff type guys enter. I'm curious if Baylor tries to target some guys like that to try to address more of the defensive line group. Now that they've raised the floor of that group with the pieces that they have, I do think there's room to add to the ceiling of that group.
Okay, and you had said Baylor's going to need to bring in whatever it was, 30 to 35 players, and they really are buzzing now. Seemed like a little bit of a slow start for the Bears, but even that quarterback, the commitment with DJ got a lot of people fired up, and the hope is that DJ gets so solidified and that he is enough that he'll start reaching out to players, and that'll even help solidify some things there. This South Carolina defensive lineman, Xavion Hardy, you reported yesterday, 6'5", 200. He signed with Baylor, 6'5", 290-pounder, the number 1 JUCO recruit in the country in 2025. What did you find out about him from like this past season, and what is the hope there with him? Because obviously he was very productive in the JUCO ranks.
Right. He didn't play a lot this year. Now, in fairness, he was playing in the SEC. And so, like, there are a lot of really good players that were in front of him. He didn't get much of an opportunity. He enters the portal, and now it's one of those situations where it's like you look at a guy like this and you see the upside that he brings. I mean, again, you're the number 1 JUCO prospect in the country. You're pretty good. And so I think it's just finding that untapped potential. That's where it is with him. I don't view him as a sure thing. I view him as a high ceiling guy that you bring in. He's got a ton of talent. And if he works out, man, you got a really, really good defense lineman, an SEC caliber defensive lineman. And this is something that I think Baylor fans in general, and, myself having, somewhat of frustration with this as well, is, they need to take guys like this. And they've taken a lot more power 4 type guys who maybe didn't work out wherever they were at, but they're taking shots on them. And I do think that's a smart recipe for success. You have to develop the talent and you have to evaluate the talent correctly. But I do think taking shots like this is very appropriate, and mixing that in with the guys that they already have on the defensive line, which you got from Texas State, Southern Miss, Marshall. Like, you're looking at guys that bring your floor to another level. But getting a guy like this definitely helps you kind of take a ceiling shot. And I think that's smart for Baylor.
Okay, and Kansas State safety Kobe McAllister signed with Baylor. He was out due to injury. How much are you seeing? You mentioned the edge rusher that came out of K-State. There's another safety. How much are you seeing the Clanderman effect? And I think we probably were a little bit early on. We thought, well, he'll just bring everybody. And hey, everybody out there spending a lot of money on these players, right? So it was probably unfair to think he was just going to bring his whole defense with him. But walk us through a little bit these players that are coming from K-State, and in particular, what the traits are about them that you feel like Clanderman has convinced them to come to Waco, and how much you think they're going to help immediately.
Right. So, I mean, his defensive guys have gotten recruited very heavily. 2 of them are going to Indiana. Austin Romaine's going to Texas Tech. Malcolm Alcorn is going to SMU, but he had offers from everybody. He's definitely a highly sought after guy. And so, Baylor had to pick and choose, right? You got to pick and choose the kind of guys that you want. And you mentioned Ryan Davis, the edge prospect that they got. He was a huge one for them. They have to address that position. He's got great familiarity with this scheme. He also brings upside to this roster as well. He was a guy who Kansas State was super high on this offseason. He came into the year, he just kept getting injured. His best football, I do think, is in front of him. He is a guy who can get after the quarterback, but he's also pretty good at stopping the run. He's not just going to get eaten up in that regard, and I think that's very important. But then also you have the development piece of that and him getting better and potentially playing his best football going forward. That's what you're hoping for with him. Now, the other 2 guys that you mentioned, Kobe McAllister is one, and then Daniel Cobbs is the other, the 2 safeties. Very important that Baylor got safeties in this portal class, with all that they've lost and kind of the problems that they have had there. Colby is a really good coverage guy. And if you watch Baylor a year ago, they couldn't cover very well. I know the run defense was the biggest problem, but they couldn't cover either. And McAllister definitely brings that to the table. I think he can cover out of the slot, which would mean he could play some nickel, which used to be the star. I don't know what Clanderman's going to call it, but essentially a nickelback spot. He could do that. He could play free safety as well. And then Daniel Cobbs, I think, gives them depth options at safety. I don't think he's going to start over Jacob Redding or Devin Turner, but I do think he will play a lot. Kind of in similar things with Colby. I think Colby will start for them, though. I do really like his game, and I like how he fits as well. Also, both those guys are playing safety, which is Joe Clanderman's position. And so for that reason, I do think you have to trust him a little bit on his evaluations and evaluating what he needs to bring into Baylor, especially at that safety position, which, again, is the one he'll be coaching.
Yeah. I'm hoping Baylor is one of the bigger boom or bust teams. We've had those discussions in the past, like this could be because the best news about that is if there's a boom to this bust, there's actually some upside for a decent team. You hate to go into a season with all bust, having no hope. And I don't know, it was sort of in those early days of the portal, not knowing what they're going to do at quarterback. It just was kind of feeling rough, and this thing has given Baylor some hope, especially with what I'm going to bring up here in a minute. The men's basketball team off to an extremely tough start in conference. Last thing I wanted to ask you on the O-line, it's interesting, and I have no problem when they go after these guys from like the MAC, this enormous player from Toledo, in fact, 6'7", 301-pound prospect. I was watching Oregon and Indiana and some of these teams with just these massive dudes out there at like left tackle and right tackle. We had one guy from the MAC that had to medically retire a couple of years ago when they brought him in. And I think that was that offensive line coach that ended up going to, I believe, Alabama from Baylor, the old Michigan State offensive line coach. As they piece these things together, how do you see this O-line coming together, both the couple of holdovers and now the guys that they're bringing in?
I would say that there's still work to do, but I can understand the approach that Baylor's going with here. They've brought in a lot of interesting guys who have played a lot of football. I think that's that's the key. Really the only guy that they brought in that hasn't played a lot is Nate Kibble, who transferred in from Texas. But he brings kind of that ceiling, right? And so again, you're bringing guys who help solidify your floor, and then you're going out and taking shots on guys who you think could be really, really good, but maybe haven't played a lot. And so Kibble definitely fits that. But the other guys that they got have played a lot of football just at a lower level. And so you're kind of trying to address it in that way. They're waiting on a decision from Stanford offense lineman Jack Lehrer. He'd be a big one. He's played a lot of football, 18 career starts, has played some guard and a lot of tackle in his career. And so he would be another one that you just add to the mix, and you add to the competition, you add to the talent, and then you build from there and you let these guys go out there and compete. I still think I think they're probably going to add at least maybe one more, maybe two more. From a standpoint of these guys could actually play, they're going to have to take more bodies just because they don't have enough bodies. But I think from a actual, like, we want this guy to potentially start, I think there's probably room for two more of those type of additions. And then just let them go out there and compete. You only have Colton Siraki and Caden Siraki back from a potential, starting standpoint. And then you like your young guys, whether it's Matthew Parker, Harrison Clough, to come in there and battle as well. But you want as many buys as possible. Baylor needs just a ton of competition up front. It's been something that they were needing this year. They should have gone out and brought in another guy from the transfer portal for this past season. Mm-hmm. They didn't. And because of that, I think it really hurt their competition in the off season. And they just kind of felt like, oh yeah, just run it back right after the great end of the year. It didn't quite work out this year. I think they're definitely going to shift that approach.
Okay, and like when Oregon, like a great program like that, takes a kid like Carl Williams, who was part of that freshman class a couple of years ago, that Baylor thought after 2023 season, boy, if you keep Caden, if you keep Carl, Corey, some of those others, and none of them really panned out. Is when Oregon takes it, and again, they may be just taking a flyer on him, and maybe he's not getting that much money. Is that based on just, hey, this guy was really good, as they got great freshman tape on him, and maybe we can get something out of him? I still don't quite know why they couldn't ever get Carl on the field this season. You may have some intel on that. Maybe it was an injury, but it just seemed odd they could never get the guy going. Would a team like Oregon, that's well established and that was a semifinal team, takes a shot at a kid like that? What is that about?
I think it's just, again, one of those upside shots. I mean, if you see Carl at his best, I mean, he's a good player. I mean, Baylor felt so highly of him. He was at media days 2 years ago. I mean, that is just kind of where things are at. And so now he gets an opportunity to go to Oregon and just compete and just see if he can make it happen. And so it was intriguing to see that. I was a little surprised by it, but I think it's a good move by Oregon. I mean, when Carl's healthy, Carl's good. Just he has not been healthy at all since his freshman year.
Okay, and Bryson goes to Auburn, so that'll be interesting to see him right away. You don't think Baylor needs a running back in this portal? Will they look at that?
I really don't think so. That's been a position that I've been looking at a little bit, but they returned everyone except for Bryson. And I would also say, Draylon Miller got a lot of carries at Colorado. So if you have worries about your depth, or if you just lose everybody at running back again, then I think he could fill in a pinch.
Okay. All right. And then I did want to bring up Baylor basketball. You've been so busy, but I know you love hoops enough to at least take a peek over there at what Baylor's doing. Grayson, we hadn't seen anything quite this bad. Like that I think we knew Scott would find a way, even when they lost to K-State a few years ago and they started 0-3. That team had enough talent. There's some things to suggest indicators that this team's not going to turn it around, and they could easily end up 0-6 here. I guess the easy question is, like, what happened? And it's just everything that can go wrong is going wrong. And as Kendall Kaut said the other day, and I talk hoops with him a lot, they did not even belong on the same court as Houston the other day. And it's crazy to have gotten to the point in just a couple of years where you're not really competitive against these top teams, where Kansas and Baylor only 3 or 4 years ago were really the class of this conference. And now they're just not even any close to BYU, Arizona, Texas Tech, Houston, a lot of these teams. I don't know, Grayson. I hate it, and I know Baylor's going to do everything in its power to turn this thing around, but I don't see any easy answers for this season.
I really don't either, but the crazy part is this was kind of my expectation. And so it's not really shocking to me that this is where they're at. This felt like kind of a bridge year a little bit. I mean, once they lost Rob Wright and you looked at their point guard situation, they don't have a true point guard. And in college basketball, you need a true point guard. They tried to solidify their big position by going and getting James Najee. And, that's fine, but you have to hit on the guys that you're spending on. And I believe you have to have a point guard. And Baylor spent as much as they could on this roster while losing Rob Wright. And they just haven't gotten a lot in return. I mean, Obi Agbum's been okay, but not to the level that they need him to be. Michael Ratai hasn't been anywhere close to where they need him to be so far this year. Skillings and Cam Carr. I mean, Skillings has been okay. Cam Carr's been really good. He's been the bright spot. But even he goes through these ups and downs and these lulls when you really need him to be just this stabilizing presence. Then Tunde is a freshman. He's got great highs and a lot of lows as well. And so I saw this team and we saw them play early in the year. I still had a lot of questions, even though they started strong. And then you looked at conference play and it's like 2 of their first 3 games are against 2 of the top 5 teams in the country. Probably weren't going to win those. They should have beaten TCU. That's a bad loss. But for them to be 0-3 right now really isn't all that surprising. Now, they do have to turn around, and I think to some extent they will. I don't necessarily know if that means they're going to do the full turnaround where they become a contender in the Big 12, because I never expected that. Yeah. I expected this team to kind of be one of those. I think I had them as like a 7-10 seed, which basically puts you at, 10-10 or 9-11 in the Big 12? And that is still definitely doable in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't know. To your point, Ratai looks bad. Last year they missed on the Duke guard. That turned out horribly. I think in addition to, I've been told, I'm going to have Doug McNamee on soon. I've been told he's going to work hard to get Scott more money. But I also think they got to take a really long look at evaluation, because I like Skillings was good against Baylor in the past. I'm not saying I was against that. I was happy to see Dan Skillings come, but there's almost no one other than Carr, and Tunde's even having trouble finishing some of these. There's nobody to go get their own shot. There's nobody to run the team. They're horrible at defensive rebounding. The one thing they do is they can offensive rebound, but they got crushed by Houston. I don't know. It's a combination of the conference being really, really good, but I hate that they've bottomed out. They were not good last year. Let's not really act like they were. I think they sort of got into the tournament based on reputation, and that was good. I'm glad they got in there and won a game, but this may be the wake-up call, Grayson, that they need, right? To truly bottom out. And I don't think anymore in the portal it can even be that big of an excuse. We have 13 new people, because a ton of these teams are starting over. Now, not Iowa State, but, Arizona's bringing in a ton of new players. TCU every year brings in a ton of new players. They have Posey back and they have Punch back, who are nice players, but Posey's off the bench. So I don't know if that can be, Grayson, in my mind, some kind of huge excuse. We don't have any returning players.
I would agree with you if Rob Wright had returned, because I do feel like that move so late in the process just completely set back their roster construction as a whole. They had to frantically try to figure out that position, and they didn't really do it. And unfortunately, that's the unfortunate part. You look at some of the guys that, maybe they could have had. Maybe they should have taken another chance. I think you're exactly right. NIL, I don't think, has been the issue here. Jeremy Roach got paid last year and just wasn't very good. It was just a misevaluation. And this roster, I don't think, is anywhere near as, heavily NIL focused as last year's team. But this year's team, there are still some misses here. I mean, some guys that you really went out and wanted and prioritized, like Ratai, like Obi Agbum, that just haven't fit what they need. And honestly, I think more of it's about fit than is necessarily just the player not playing well. I just, this team hasn't really made a lot of sense to me since the offseason. And it's just become even more apparent that this team just is not a great team. They got some good parts, but just not a great team together.
Maybe Scott will pull off a miracle. Grayson, I know you're probably wondering my interpretation of a quick interview when I keep you for like 27 minutes, but I am going to start calling. As of today, I just thought of this because I saw you say boom the other day when Baylor got one of those big. I am going to these next few portal people, even when DJ finally signs, DJ Lagway, we're going to start calling these Grayson bombs, okay? And that'll be something official we do on the Mosley Show. We may even have a little graphic for it with like your face attached to it, okay?
Let's do it.
For taking a break and being on with us, we'll Grayson bomb. In lieu of all the money I'd like to pay you, we will have Grayson bombs. Hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I hope you're not, putting on too much weight with missing out on all these. How's your practice go the other night for your elementary school age basketball? Okay.
Good. We got another one tonight and 2 games this week, but we're undefeated right now. So we're doing good. We're cruising.
Did you do well in the portal going into this season?
We got some good 7th graders. We got a couple 8th graders that stuck around. Those were my portal additions, and we're doing good. We got a good team.
Oh, this is middle school. That's right. This is higher than I even had you. I was trying to think of your actual kids, but we're talking. These are major deals. All right, Grayson, I appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Appreciate you.
All right, there he goes, Grayson Grunhafer joining the Mosley Show, and he'll have to look real quick, and we'll have another Grayson bomb before long. Let's see if he put anything up while we were talking to him. It was just about Carl Williams and some of that, but we'll have more to come. All right, lots of college, an interesting idea on, and we need to talk about these wild card games because that was just incredible. Some of these NFL games. All right, I'm going to react to that and an interesting idea that's been put out there about who to hire for the Cowboys defensive coordinator. It's someone from the college ranks. That is next.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
All right, good stuff there from Grayson. We'll have a full breakdown. Kendall Kaut is a longtime friend of mine who covers Baylor basketball, has for years. He was with Siegmund 365, and he's now kind of doing it. He's a powerful attorney from the state of Kansas. In fact, he'll be at that Baylor-Kansas game coming up, I believe, on Friday night. That's a Fox game on Friday. And then there's a game tomorrow night, and that'll be Baylor at Oklahoma State out there in Stillwater. Bears desperately need a win. And, you know, I would caution everybody. Listen, I'm frustrated. Baylor's in a bad way, hoops-wise right now, men's-wise. Women are doing fine. They had a nice win over Kansas. It's rough right now. Scott deserves the benefit of the doubt. And even if this ends up being a really bad season and they miss the tournament, he's done such amazing things that you just have to ride this out and hopefully see where they bounce back and they'll address everything they got wrong this season. Lack of a true point guard. Missing on, I hate to say, he still has time to try to get things together. Michael Ratai is, I think, a good guy. I think certainly has some things that he does that are nice, but he's not getting it done right now. And from a shooting standpoint, just from a scoring, they just need so much more than what they're getting. And so right now, what this team needs to be is either Tunde or Cam or both need to take over and be monsters. And they're just, over the last couple of conference games, just don't seem capable of doing that. Great athleticism, tremendous players, and the team certainly has to lean on them. But the offense isn't good enough. Nothing right now is coming together. By the way, personalized health care that puts you first. You saw the ad we had earlier today. Patient First Direct Primary Care, located out there at 15190 Badger Ridge Drive Boulevard there in Waco. To learn more, visit patientfirstdirect.com. That's patientfirstdirect.com. And Patient First Direct Primary Care. We've enjoyed having them on, and they do an incredible job out there. So just wanted to bring that up with you, and we're happy to have them on we're happy to have Ascension Providence, Cherry Johnson, Siegmund James, that great law firm, and then Schmaltz's Sandwich Shop. And, of course, you saw CNB, Central National Bank. Love having them, our presenting sponsor. Schmaltz's Sandwich Shop. And we are just so thankful for our incredible sponsors, and more to come. More to come. In fact, we're talking right now about an incredible thing that we have going on at Rogue with one of the largest school districts in the Metroplex. Pretty awesome deal. And we'll have more announcements coming on that soon. Tonight's game, of course, we have the Steelers and the Texans. And Steelers have had a lot of trouble. They haven't won a playoff game in a long time. 7:15 tonight. And the Texans are a good team. Really good secondary, good defense. DeMeco Ryans has some good things going on. as they roll into this. And these road teams, for the most part, have done fine. Bills go in there to a tough environment against Jacksonville. Jacksonville played their rears off, and Josh Allen and the Bills were able to get that done. But there's a lot going on right now, NFL-wise, we need to react to. Before I talk NFL, I just want to say that some college football news. Sam Levitt is the sources for ESPN say that they will likely be adding Levitt from the portal, and so that's a big thing. And Dylan Raiola from Nebraska joins Oregon as the Ducks await to see what Dante Moore decides with the draft. A reminder, as I had to remind myself earlier, Josh Hoover originally committed to Indiana, and then he's ended up going to Indiana. That would have been further back. Kevin, as we were talking about it, I was thinking about that because Hoover was at TCU for quite a while. So that actually, if he did commit to Indiana, that would have been pre-Signetti. That would have been Allen and his crew. The more I think about that, Signetti, who has just now been there, this is his second season there. So we'll take a peek at that, but I do believe that would have been the previous regime to the great Signetti. All right. We give him a lot of credit, but I think Coach Allen might deserve credit for that previous commitment there. News today, too, Micah Parsons out there saying that the Packers want LaFleur back, Matt LaFleur back as coach. This is what Parsons said. He said, I reached out to him when I started seeing this, and I said, man, when I agreed to come here, you were part of the reason why I came here. I want you a part of this, and I love you, and I think you're a great coach. And he appreciated those words, and we had a brief conversation. But, Matt, I think he's a great guy, and I just think he cares so much, like he cares so much about the players. All right. So a big-time seal of approval there from Micah Parsons for Coach LaFleur. All right, we've hit a lot on today, and I've talked about Baylor and who they've signed and Draylon Miller from Colorado. Kevin, that was good for the soul to hear the excitement in Grayson Grunhafer's voice, hearing about Miller and like the fit for this Baylor offense and what they think they could do with him and DJ Lagway. Let's get DJ signed. How about that? How about go ahead and get that paperwork done? As we get ready to get toward the end of the show, and Kevin, I'll bring you on here in a minute to bounce some of this NFL off of you. But wow, what a incredible group of games those were over the weekend. Yesterday was a lot of fun, except for the 16-3 Kevin dud at the end of it. Sunday Night Football. I mean, Drake May's great. I mean, I do think we're getting a little carried away. I mean, he's had a great year, and I'm fine for all the MVP talk and everything. But it's like 9-3, and we're trying to act like MVP. Give him the MVP. I mean, that was not. I mean, he was fine, but he had a turnover. He had a couple. He had some mistakes in that game. The Chargers had a fine chance, had a great chance to get involved in that game. And they get down there in the red zone. They get down there on the lip of the cup, and they're on the 2-yard line, and they can't get it in. Everybody's like Keenan Allen. He's amazing down there around the goal line. Blame it on whoever you want. But, man, they could not get it done. They were lucky to finally kick a field goal down there. Great environment at New England. I hate this, though, Kevin, because I got used to New England not being part of the conversation and the Patriots being out, both under Bill Belichick and then after him with Mayo. They're back, buddy. They're back, and we're going to have to be dealing with them for a while. And
that's what I said.
These linebackers, who in the world are these linebackers? I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like There's Gonzalez. Who's 51? Their linebackers were just racing around. I mean, they're so good. And in Herbert, I do think we have to have a conversation about Justin Herbert. He's great. He's got all the ability in the world. He's huge. He can run. He's athletic. What has he done in the playoffs? Nothing. All right. If we're going to kill Dak for his playoff record and other quarterbacks and even Lamar with Baltimore, hey, you gotta say Herbert is not getting it done. And while he's got, again, all the intangibles, the size, the arm, what was that, bad weather? Was that the reason he couldn't, he wasn't making plays down the field? He didn't have a running game? Is that it? I mean, I like that little 5'6", 5'7" running back. That tiny little guy. I kind of like that guy. Vidal. I kind of like Vidal back there. But, man, not being able to get it done and then just taking shots. Are we going to blame it on they did get help this year at offensive tackle? Some of those guys got hurt.
Yeah.
I get it. But he did have time.
All the help that they brought in just got totally decimated. And then he broke his hand. And so, but he was getting absolutely shellacked back there. He didn't have time to anything.
I thought he did have some time. I thought he had time to make some plays. I do agree with you. I thought he was getting crushed. I thought he got annihilated. I thought at the end of the game, is he even going to get up from that?
Yep.
I thought there were some rough moments in that regard, but I think he deserves some of the blame. I think you've got to find a way to get him to the next level, and you've got the guy in Jim Harbaugh who usually commit to the run game. I thought their defense probably played well enough to win. You hold a team to 16 points. Oh, my gosh. So that was the dud. What about these other games? I mean, I thought those were bangers, man.
The team that was down at the 2-minute warning won the game. Every other game.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And the Niners, let's start with the Niners and the Eagles. Those poor old Eagles. Patullo, they hate him. They want Sirianni fired. Come on, guys. You're 1 year removed from winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
Do you really run Sirianni out of there? But A.J. Brown, to complain and to all the things that he says on the sideline or in the week and always, and to have those opportunities, huge, gorgeous throw by Jalen Hurts down the field, misses that ball. Then another huge ball that goes to him. A.J. Brown, 2 big drops. Sirianni and Brown screaming at each other on the sideline right before the half. This was not a good look by the Philadelphia Eagles. So I do think changes are needed. I don't think you can fire your head coach 1 year removed from winning the Super Bowl. Now, they've almost done it. Peterson wasn't that far removed from winning a Super Bowl when they fired him. But, man, when I hear people complain about the Cowboys and all their injuries, oh, my gosh, how could they have ever overcome this? I don't want to hear it. Go through the Niners injuries. Kittle is constantly injured, gets injured in this game. According to reports, Rossini asked for a bottle of tequila in the locker room, and they sent it down there, and they said the bottle was empty at the end of the game. So apparently he asked for some tequila to get him through the second half. What about the Eagles fans? They need a little tequila to have them watch that offense in the second half. Wow. That was bad. I mean, but the Niners, that gorgeous throw, who was that? Was that Jennings over there? I mean, on that like jet sweep that they turned into a throw. I mean, that was unbelievable. McCaffrey was out of that game for periods of the time. I mean, he's a great, great player. But Bosa, I mean, think about all the players they're missing. I mean, just go down the line at linebacker. All those linebackers that are incredible that they've had. They were missing most of those guys.
You're missing two huge pieces on that defense with Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. Like, you talk about the heart and soul of that defense is gone, and yet Robert Saleh is still able to come up with a 4th and whatever stop in the red zone where they should. This Eagles offense, we've seen them be so successful in these kind of situations because they have this special play where it doesn't matter if it's 4th and 1 or 2. You know what's coming. We don't have to get it on 3rd down, but they can't get it done. They can't even get it to that point.
Niners at Seahawks now. Wow. Divisional round. Two division teams playing each other. They've had some great ones this season. I want to
just
give
played each other 2 weeks ago.
I want to give Shanahan just because of what he's accomplished in the postseason, his experience. I want to give him the upper hand here, but I kind of like this McDonald. I like this Seattle coach. I like the quarterback at Seattle. Right now, I think I trust him more than I do Purdy. Purdy made some fine throws, but Purdy made some awful throws. I mean, that ball, and I liked hearing earlier today. I loved hearing my man Brady talk about. I don't know why I said it's my man. I like what he said about throwing the ball in the wind. He gave a great. It is funny to hear him talk about like physics of the guy who was accused of like letting the air out of the ball, but he had some good talk on how the ball needs to be coming out of your hand when you're throwing into the wind. And I did not like Purdy. They were reading Purdy. Purdy had at least 2 picks in that game. I hated how Purdy was playing, and yet they found a way to win that game over Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. All right. Bears and Packers was a banger. I love the fact these two head coaches hate each other. I love some hatred. I like a postseason flyby. Our post-game flyby. They don't like to shake hands. They have to kind of do it, but then they'll run away from each other. Ben Johnson is, that's the greatest, other than the Jacksonville coach, and they lost, but I thought Jacksonville stepped up and played their rears off in that game. I thought Liam Cohen had a great season this year, but Ben Johnson and the fact that those Bears keep pulling these games out at the very end. It's the cardiac Bears. It's how many games have they been trailing in the fourth quarter and they pulled out? Like 6 or 7 now? It's unbelievable. What are you going to say?
Did you see the reporter with Liam Cohen in the post game and complimenting him on his season and everything?
That was weird. Yeah. Almost sent that to you to play. But
I love it, though. Like, you could watch his demeanor just kind of like go from like on guard to just going, okay, thank you, and it's rare that we get to see these coaches in that kind of environment in that way. I thought it was pretty cool.
Now, let me just say, from a reporting standpoint, it was embarrassing. You don't show up at those things and start praising and telling people to keep their chin up. That's not the role of a reporter. So, I'm whatever. I'm not going to go that crazy on it, but you'll never hear me in there trying to lift a coach spirits. Now, I'm not going to be rude and I'm not going to be a punk, but the reporters are there to hold them accountable, not be cheerleaders. So
I understand that as well. We get frustrated with the Indianapolis media and how soft they are on the Colts in that organization. So.
Except for the one guy who everybody hates, who probably is tough, but then the guy that got suspended for acting like such a fool with Caitlin. Greg
Doyle.
Something.
Greg Doyle. He doesn't know what he's doing. He tried to the cancer where it has now it's not just breast cancer, it's all the different colors, right? And in the logo for the NFL that they do in October, he tried to turn it into a political thing with the rainbow, and everybody's going, what?
I know, it's extremely weird. Packers, that's the thing, man. The stakes are so high in the NFL. you lose this game and they're immediately trying to fire the coach or deciding if the Packers are going to move on. There does seem to be some movement for the Packers holding on to LaFleur, but Ben Johnson has turned this Bears around. That right there was what you want a playoff game to look like. I hate the thought of the Bears going to a indoor facility. I mean, that was great, man. It was cold. The crowd was incredible. It was loud. I was at a restaurant. I was trying to watch that game from afar a little bit, and it was 21-3, and I thought it's over. And then I got home, and I was like, dang it, man. These Bears are not. And Caleb Williams, everything that Herbert was not in that game, Caleb Williams was. All right, he wasn't playing great. And then suddenly, game on the line, 5.5 minutes left. They have all their timeouts. That's one thing, by the way. One of those teams, was it the 49ers or which team was it? Or maybe it was who got beat 16-3 that I was just talking about? Oh, the Chargers. Like one of those teams, like you got to stop using all your timeouts. I think Shanahan was kind of doing that. Dude, these teams, the reason the Bears had a shot in that game because they kept all their timeouts and they used them properly. These teams that are just oh my gosh, we don't want to get with 14 minutes left in the third quarter, we don't want to get a delay of game penalty, and they're burning their timeouts. It's crazy, man. Yeah. Okay, Rams over Panthers. I thought the Panthers played well. They hung in there. Good year for them. By their standards, it was great. By most team standards, it was kind of By most team standards, it should have been a non-playoff season. But they hosted a playoff game. People thought the Rams would go in there and mop it up with them. And honestly, Stafford had to be great late to get that done. And going to the last drive, Stafford had about 193 and, turnovers. He was not great in that game. And then when he had to be great, he was great. All right. And Kev, who are all these tight ends and where have they come from? Where have they been? I mean, like the Rams tight end, number 87, makes a play on that ball. That was a gorgeous throw, but it was a great catch. In that game, Bears have Loveland. Man, he's emerged as a great tight end. Overnight, these tight ends, we used to just think of Kittle and
catching tight end. See, this is my beef with tight ends. Like tight ends is the last full-fledged, actual well-rounded football position left. But if you're only going to be a pass-catching tight end like a Kelsey or like a Brock Bowers, you're not really playing a tight end. You're just playing a glorified big slot receiver. Guys like Kittle, guys like Warren, guys like Higbee from the Rams, they do everything. And I appreciate that as a tight end position.
I think
you got to block, you got to catch, you got to do it all.
I will not let you throw shade at Taylor Swift's man like that. He's done plenty of blocking in his career, and he and Gronk became two of the greatest pass-catching tight ends ever. And yes, it certainly helped that Mr. Mahomes came along. And with Gronk, it helped that Mr. Brady was there for a lot of years. But they're both brilliant. And I still think of them as all-around great tight ends, not just great pass catchers. But when you catch it like that, you can stop blocking. And Kelsey did enough blocking in his career. All right, that's unfair. Okay, penalty, 15-yard penalty on Mr. Hall there. You know, every once in a while you have a look of like the guy from who do you remind me of every once in a while? I think because of the hair, you make me think of if you put on sunglasses, PFT commenter. You know, like occasionally you'll make a face or something. I'm like, you make me okay. What other game did I not mention? Oh, Bills and Jags. I mentioned it for a second. This is another game. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Those are kind of some Terminator. I like those. Kev, that's a Josh Allen. That's a good Josh Allen legacy. Get it done. He was banged up. He just didn't have. It was a great crowd. He didn't. Something was not right with him, and yet he was still making the throws down the field. He still kept that game going. Kept them close enough. Kept them where they needed to be, and the Bills win that game. You need to win games like that if you're going to have a chance. So now we get excited
It's the first
about
playoff game on the road that Josh Allen has ever won.
Wow. That didn't even sound okay. That sounds crazy.
I know. He's won everything at home, not on the road. Of course, most of the time it's been in Kansas City, so that's kind of understandable.
Yeah.
Now he has to go to another. He has to go through another AFC West team, and the Broncos on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be. I was looking. I had one last little nugget for you. By the way, I am going to have to go headset. These are not what I need. All right. Yeah. You said something that tripped my memory, and there's something about these matchups I want to go. Wait, what'd you say for Buffalo? Say that point one last time.
So
road play. Golly. So he couldn't win in Kansas City. He could. I thought the Bills, but it's a little unfair because the Bills have probably been good enough where most of the time they're hosting. Now, he still had trouble getting past Mahomes, even at his place. But I would have to look and go what his road record was in the playoffs. I wouldn't say he's played a lot of road playoff games. I would have to look
Probably
at that.
right.
What did you I just wanted to, temper that before we beat up on him too much. What was the last remark you made, though, about the Bills coming up?
They have to go into Denver now. Play the what is the number 1 seed, but it's still in question because
I still like Denver. I like Buffalo to win this game. I like Buffalo, and it goes back to some of these college football playoff games. The teams that had to sit, the teams that had the bye were, other than Indiana, have not been good over the last 2 years. I think there's something about having the bye. It's great. You get healthy and all. But these other teams now, I saw Tony Dungy. He thinks it's unfair that some of these teams have to play on a short week, and I believe the Bills are one of those teams. Is that right? Bills have to turn around and go to Denver and play on a short week. I think it's a Saturday game.
Yeah. That's my beef with the Monday night playoff game. I don't think it's great at all. Why?
Well, it's what screws the thing up. Them wanting to play the Monday night thing has made, because now the Texans or Steelers are going to have to play on a short week. They have to totally turn around and do that. And the also thing I wish they could fix the seeding is letting these bad teams get to host games, right?
Yeah.
I love seeing Chicago get to, but they had a really good season. So that was fine for that game to be played in Chicago. The
Carolina.
Eagles were,
But Carolina, why?
Yeah. Come on now. Come on. I mean,
Steelers.
Rams overcame it. Yeah.
Steelers tonight get to host a game in the North against a team from the South, and the team from the South has the better record, better defense, played better all year, especially and is on the bigger role right now.
It's when all the teams are good, it's not so glaring. But when you have a 8-9-1 team or a 500 team, you like the Panthers get in, the Bucks have done it in the past. I don't know. The only time didn't Tebow get a win one time in the playoffs with the Broncos?
Yep.
You remember? And I don't think that was a great Broncos team with Tebow, but they did get that win. Didn't he throw a huge? Was that Demarius?
I believe
that was
so.
That was Demarius
in
Thomas.
overtime.
Yeah. All right, buddy. That's been fun. I mean, we just look up and we've gone overtime. Submit that if you would, Kevin. Let them know we gave a little extra today on the Mosley Show. We want to welcome. In fact, I was texting him earlier today. Brandon's going to be working with us, Kev. Brandon's joined the team, and he'll be helping us with some post-production work and I don't know. I mean, we're going to use him for anything we can use him for. I think he's going to do a great job for us. So welcome, Brandon, to the fold. We're appreciative of that. All right, all our best. It's been the Mosley Show. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence. the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
It's time to start something new at Allen Samuels. Drive in with huge savings on all of our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. From a trail-conquering Jeep Grand Cherokee, towing in style with a Ram Heavy Duty, or cruising the city in a sporty and luxurious Ram 1500, we've got the perfect ride for you. Stop by Allen Samuels in Waco, where we make car buying easy.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
WhyPersonalLoans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit PersonalLoans.com today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit PropMoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.